Have you been seeing what's happening with those polls? They're like rocket ships. Rocket ships. I'll tell you, it's been great. I love Ohio. I worked in Ohio, did well in Ohio, gave me confidence to go out with life. But right at the beginning, I was in Ohio, so we love it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. In 4 days, we are going to win the great state of Ohio, and we are going to win back the White House. New polls just out have us with a very substantial lead in Ohio, nationwide, many of the states. We're looking great in Florida. We're looking great in North Carolina. We are looking great in the state of Pennsylvania. We just left New Hampshire. We have a lead in New Hampshire. These very dishonest people back there, the media, they're getting a little worried. They're getting a little bit worried. This wasn't supposed to happen. This was not supposed to happen. You can vote early in person or you can show up on November 8th. Who has voted? Not great. But you're saving it for November 8th, I think, right? You want to be traditional, right? Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing horrible Obamacare. It's just been announced that the residents of Ohio are going to experience massive, massive problems with their Obamacare. You know about that, I guess, right? You know about it. It's a serious problem. It is a serious problem. And you're going to have numbers. In the great state of Arizona, it's gone up 116%, okay? 116%. So you're going to have a lot of problems. We're going to work on it very hard. 88 counties in Ohio are losing at least 3 Obamacare insurers a year, okay? So next year, you're going to have almost nobody even to negotiate with. By next year, but it's not going to matter, because if we win the election, you're not going to have Obamacare to worry about. You're not going to have Obamacare. Nothing to worry about, believe me. And we are going to have great health care at a much lower price, and it's going to be something you're going to be very proud of. Right now, it's an international joke, Obamacare. It's an international joke. Premiums are surging, companies are leaving, insurers are fleeing, doctors are quitting. I know so many doctors, they've quit. And generally speaking, deductibles are going through the roof, some higher than others. We have deductibles I've heard as high as $15,000 or $16,000. Yet Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare, making it even more expensive. I'm asking for your vote so we can replace Obamacare and save health care for every family in Ohio, but more importantly, because we don't want to think of ourselves, for every family in the United States. It's a big problem. It is a big problem. Real change also means restoring honesty to government. So we ought to start by getting rid of Hillary Clinton. That would be a good way to start. Be a good way to start. The FBI now has multiple open criminal investigations going on Hillary Clinton. Lots of bad things are happening. Lots of really bad things are happening. But I'll tell you what, you're going to be amazed when it's all finished, when you look at how it's all fleshing out. The system is a beautiful system when it works. We have a rigged system so many times. You see this. I mean, you have things going on that are incredible. That includes a discovery of another 650,000 emails, and also a criminal investigation into her pay-for-play corruption at the State Department. Amazing. Last night, it was just confirmed that the 650,000 emails include brand new emails not previously seen by authorities, likely including classified information. Hillary is now facing major problems with perjury. The FBI agents say their investigation is likely to yield, perhaps, an indictment. The reports also show that the political leadership at the Department of Justice is trying as hard as they can to protect their angel, Hillary. This is no angel. They want to protect their angel. Did we ever have a situation like this, Isla? First of all, forget about as of last Friday with the new 650,000 emails that was found. Forget that. She should have been disqualified for running for president from the first batch of emails and from all of the crimes that have been committed. I mean, take a look at the first batch. Why do we even have to go? Now we're doing it. Oh, look what we found. How many times do we have to do this? I believe the FBI wanted to do it, and she was protected by friends of hers at the Department of Justice. That's the department where, as you know, the Attorney General was on the airplane. Now they say it was for 45 minutes. Talking about the grandchildren and talking about golf for 45 minutes. I don't think so. I think they were talking about a position. In other words, a continuation of a position. I think that's what they were talking about, folks. Hillary has engaged in a criminal massive enterprise and cover-ups like probably nobody ever before. Remember, John Podesta said she has bad instincts. And you know, as I was getting off the plane, they were just announcing new WikiLeaks, and I wanted to stay there, but I didn't want to keep you waiting. I didn't want to keep you waiting. Let me run back into the plane and find out. I didn't want to go. There were some beauties coming out, and I'm saying, do I listen for another? You know, you can listen for hours. But think of it, John Podesta, her top person, said she has bad instincts. Who the hell wants a president where the person that knows her best said her instincts are bad? Now, Bernie Sanders said she has bad judgment, but at least he was running against her, right? But the person working with, I tell you what, I would fire Podesta very quickly if I were him. He should be fired. And honestly, shouldn't Huma be fired? Huma. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Did you get rid of all the emails? Yes, ma'am. They're all gone. Yes, ma'am. This has gone on for months. Did you get rid of the emails? Yes, ma'am. They're gone. We deleted 33,000 of them. They're all gone. I think we're in the clear. And then they find out going through a pervert's file. Anthony Weiner. Anybody in New York knows all about Anthony Weiner. And I predicted it a year ago. Did you hear me? Right? And I said all the things I said. And they all said, what a horrible thing to say. I turned out to be right. And even some of these very dishonest people in the media said Trump really called that one. I called a lot of them. But can you imagine, Uma? I got rid of them. They're all gone. 33,000. Didn't I do a good job? And then they find out, uh-oh, we got bad news, boss. I think they went on the cloud. You know the cloud? Never disappears off the cloud. For those people, when they advertise the cloud, never disappears. She said, boss, we have bad news. They just found 650,000 emails. Can you imagine? And I'll tell you, some of those emails, I would bet anything. Some of those emails are so bad, they're so classified, they're beyond classified. They have emails there that are beyond classified. And it's all coming down because I've always had a lot of confidence in the FBI, I tell you. You have amazing people in the FBI, and they're not happy. They're not happy about what's happening, and they're not happy about the way they're being pushed around. And you don't push them around for long, believe me. She created an illegal email server to shield her criminal activity and corrupt pay-for-play. And then she illegally destroyed 33,000 emails after, this is the big key, after, that's the key word, after receiving a congressional subpoena, right? So after. So she gets the subpoena and she says, get rid of it. And that's fine. And yet, they put 4-star general last week, James Cartwright, highly respected, current 4-star general. They may put him in jail for up to 5 years for doing nothing by comparison. General Petraeus suffered horribly. Reputation destroyed for doing nothing by comparison. They took the kid who wanted some pictures of the submarine. That's an old submarine. They got plenty of pictures. If the enemy wants them, they've got plenty of them. He wanted them. Took a couple of pictures. They put him in jail for a year. I saw his mother the other night on television. I'll tell you what, folks. We've never been in a situation like this. And then she's allowed to run for president, and General Cartwright is put in jail for doing peanuts. And he said he did it. And he said he did it for, he said that he lied for national security purposes. Okay? Who knows? But he did nothing by comparison to what she's done. If she were to win, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. She is likely to be under investigation for a long time, concluding probably in a criminal trial. Hey, look, we all want to go through a process, and we want to make sure everyone is guilty properly, everything has to be perfect. But she did things where, and we have our trial, have to go, but what she's guilty, she's guilty. Just if you took the emails, and that's the least of what she did. She got rid of emails. That's the least of what she did. If she ever got into the Oval Office, Hillary and her corrupt friends would rob this country blind. My contract with the American voter begins with a plan to end government corruption. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear and heed the words we all are about to say. We all. You ready? Isn't it amazing how this phrase has caught on? I didn't like it. I thought it was corny. I thought it was really sort of a corny phrase. I didn't like it. When we win on November 8th, we're going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp. I thought it was corny, and then I went to one rally and another, and they're all screaming, drain the swamp. But Frank Sinatra didn't like my way. He didn't like it. Until he sang it, the audience went crazy. Sang it again. Became #1. All of a sudden, he loved it very much. At the core of my contract is my plan to bring back our jobs. Ohio has lost 1 in 4 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported by crooked Hillary Clinton. America has lost, this is one of the hardest things to believe because it doesn't seem physically possible. 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization, another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. We're living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. It's true. It's the single greatest jobs theft. You take a look at what's happened, not only Ohio. You look at upstate New York, you look at Pennsylvania, look at North Carolina, look at South Carolina. You look at what's going on, look at New England. New England, boy, they got hit. General Motors laid off 1,151 workers in Moraine and moved their jobs to Mexico, China, and various other countries. Faurecia laid off 356 workers in Troy. Anybody from Troy? Okay, good. Do you still have your job? And moved their jobs to Mexico. Delphi laid off 5,805. What's with Delphi? You know about that, right? 5,805 workers in Dayton. Boy, oh boy, that's a lot of jobs. And move their jobs to Mexico. We have a one-way highway going into some of these countries, especially Mexico. Everything goes in. I always say, they get the jobs, the plants, the money. We get the drugs, we get the unemployment. It's a one-way street. Not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen anymore. There have to be consequences. When that happens, there are going to be consequences. We're going to fight. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll build the wall. It's going to be a great wall, too. It's going to be a great wall. And every time I see a Delphi, and every time I see these companies leaving, that wall gets a little bit higher. It keeps going up. It's going to be a great wall. We're going to fight for workers, and we're going to fight that Delphi and these other companies don't leave us. And there are going to be consequences, because the people got a raw deal, and they deserve so much better. A Trump administration will stop the jobs from leaving Ohio and from leaving America. And will stop the jobs, I tell you what, like you've never seen before. It will happen quickly. The theft of American prosperity will end. If a company wants to fire their workers, leave Ohio, move to another country, build their big, beautiful factory, ship their products back into the United States, we will make them pay a 35% tax going through a very strong border. It'll be a very strong border. And you know what's going to happen? They're not going to leave. Not going to leave. Now, the politicians could do something about this. How long have we been talking about this? 15 years, right? It's gotten really bad over the last 5 or 6 years, really bad. It's gotten to be catastrophic. Catastrophic. But they know this. I mean, some do, some don't. Some are not exactly, I won't say it. Some aren't too bright. Some aren't too bright. And some are getting tremendous amounts of money from donors and from people that want to see those companies leave. They have reasons for the companies to leave, including ownership interests in those companies. The problem is the politicians are working for those donors. They're not working for the American people. They're not working for all the people that got fired from what were good jobs. So what's going to happen is they won't leave. And the ones that do leave, that's okay too, because the country will make a fortune, because that's going to be called the consequence. We can stop it dead. And as we speak right now, you have leaders in your company going out, right now as we're speaking, you have leaders going out trying to negotiate deals to leave Ohio and other places, go to Mexico, go to other countries. But don't worry about it, because if I get elected, there'll be very little negotiation. The Trump administration will renegotiate NAFTA, and if we don't get the deal we want, we will terminate NAFTA and get a much better deal for our workers. I want free trade. I want fair trade. You know, everyone wants free trade. They keep calling it free trade. Well, I want free trade too, but I really want fair trade. Fair for this country and for our workers. That's what it's going to be. We're going to have fair trade. We will also immediately stop the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership from happening. That's going to be your next business. That's another NAFTA, the potential. As part of our plan to bring back jobs, we're going to lower taxes on American business from 35% to 15%. We will massively cut taxes for the middle class. We will also unleash American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. We're going to put our miners back to work. We're going to put our steel workers back to work. We will cancel billions of dollars in global warming payments to the United Nations. By the way, nobody even knows what happens to that money. I can tell you I have some pretty good idea, but nobody even knows what happens. And we will use that money to invest in America. That includes projects like improving Interstate 71 corridors. Does anybody like that idea? You gotta like it a lot, otherwise let's save the money. You know, we owe 20 trillion, okay? Do you like the idea of improving the interstate? I mean, it's not exactly, you're not thrilled by it. Let's not do it, the hell with it. Right? Let's save the money. And replacing the Brent Spence Bridge in Cincinnati. You like that? Which is critical to the region. You like that one better? You know, we should do that. Before we do a project, have a big rally. How do you like doing the interstate? People go, how do you like doing the bridge? Oh, we love it. It's not a bad way, actually. We will also rebuild our inner cities. We will become a rich nation once again. You know, our inner cities are in terrible shape. The African American community has been absolutely mistreated by the people running the inner cities for so many years, up to 100 years unbroken. And we're going to fix and invest in our inner cities. We're going to bring our jobs back to the inner cities. The crime is unbelievable. It's staggering, the crime. Thousands and thousands of shootings in Chicago just since the beginning of the year. We're going to fix our inner cities. Jobs back, good education, and safety. And I say to the African American community, I say to the Hispanic community, and I've said it, what the hell do you have to lose? I mean, what do you have to lose? We're going to make our inner cities wonderful places, safe, good education, and jobs. And you know, the Democrats for years, they've taken advantage. We want your vote, we want your vote, we want your vote. You give them the vote, and then they say, so long, folks, see you in 4 years. That's what's happened. I will fix your inner cities, and you'll be so proud of them. You're going to be so proud of them. To be a rich country, we must also be a safe country. Murder rates have experienced their largest single increase in 45 years. Now, the dishonest media doesn't tell you that. They don't want you to know that. Firearm-related deaths to police officers are up 45%. Just now, just a couple of hours ago, 2 New York City police officers, supposed to be 2 great people, were shot in the Bronx. Badly, badly shot. We send our thoughts and prayers to the officers and their families. Just happened moments before I left the plane. Unbelievable. A Trump administration will protect those who protect us, and we will stop this tremendous surge in crime. We will also keep America safe from terrorism. Hillary Clinton wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees flowing into our country. That's above the thousands that are coming in now under the Obama plan. 550% above the thousands already coming in. Her plan will import generations of terrorism, extremism, and radicalism. And it's something we can't allow to happen. They'll be in our schools, they'll be in our communities. And honestly, we want to take care of people, and we have to. And we'll help them. We'll build safe havens. We'll get the Gulf states who have nothing but money, and they haven't done their job. They will pay for it. We're not paying for it. We have 20 trillion. We're not paying for it. When I'm elected president, so we will take care of it. Everybody here wants to take care of it. But we don't want to end up like France. You see what's happening in Paris and Nice. You see what's happening in Germany. The problems, we have enough problems in our country. We will suspend the Syrian refugee program, and we will keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. And we have a president, by the way, all he does is campaign. Shouldn't he be back, like, trying to get jobs and working on ISIS and maybe not giving a 4-month notice that we're going into Mosul to attack them? You saw that whole situation. We will be attacking Mosul in 4 months. I say, why? Don't tell me. I don't want to hear that. Because we are going to capture the leaders of ISIS by attacking Mosul. You see what's going on, right? I say it all the time. And every military leader, General Flynn, who's great, General Kellogg, they're all saying you're so right. Notice that we're going to attack. So we have a president, frankly, doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know what. Look at what's happening with so many things, whether it's jobs. But why is he spending all of his time campaigning for somebody under federal investigation? All he does is campaign and campaign. He ought to be back in the Oval Office. He ought to be back there working. He ought to be back there working. I have a lot of good suggestions up here, I'll tell you. So we're going to make our country strong again. We're going to build up our military, which is so badly depleted. So badly depleted. You know, these are the greatest people there are. And we have old equipment, we have old fighter jets, we have old planes and guns and everything. The enemy has newer and better equipment than we do in many cases. Recently, they had a documentary on the jets. They're 18, 19 years old. You saw it. Look, a lot of people saw that. Where they can't replace the parts. They can't replace the parts. They have to go to plane graveyards and plane museums because they don't make the parts anymore. So all of these things are happening. We are going to have a top-notch, modern military. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We are going to do something else. How many vets are in the audience? Wow. That's a lot of vets. We are going to take care of our vets, and we're going to take care of them properly. We have illegal immigrants coming into the country that are taking better care of than our vets. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Our vets are waiting online for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 10 days to see a doctor for a simple procedure or a simple prescription. Not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen. You know that, and this is a number, 2 numbers are the hardest to believe, that we lost 77,000 factories that I told you about, 77. I thought they meant 700 factories, or 7,000, 77,000. The other one is that we have a suicide rate, 22 vets a day. I said that can't be right. You mean 22 a year? No, 22 a day. And a lot of that is because of the horrible, horrible situation that's taking place, run by the Veterans Administration. And this has gone on for years. And Hillary Clinton said it's fine. It's just fine the way it is. And you know that. She said it's just fine the way it is. And that's the thing. During the debates, it was very interesting. And I did win the debates, in all fairness. Did you see where she said all the time, I'm in debate prep. Hillary Clinton is debating. I mean, she's in debate prep. She is in debate prep. She was in there for weeks. You know what it was? It was really an excuse for her to go to sleep and relax. She was in debate prep. And I kept hearing, I felt guilty. She'd start like a week and a half before. And she was in debate prep. She wasn't in debate prep. And the truth is, if you don't know the subject so well that you have to prep for 2 weeks, you're the wrong person anyway. But it was really an excuse for her to sleep and to rest, okay? But we did well. So we did win the debates, right? Every poll, every single poll said we won the debates. But I learned something in the debates because she's saying, we will fight ISIS. We will do this. We will do that. We don't like what you did with taxes, Donald Trump. I said, well, that's okay. Why didn't you change the tax code? By the way, all of her friends do the same thing. It's all right, but why don't you change the tax code? You were there. You were a senator, secretary of state. You were you were the wife of a president. She doesn't like it. You know, so I'd watch. She's like a critic. She complains, but she'll never do anything about it. She said, we'll get rid of ISIS. Well, there was no ISIS when she became Secretary of State. ISIS formed during her tenure, right? It came out of the vacuum because the way they got out of Iraq was unbelievably stupid. And ISIS formed. Now they're in 32 countries. She has zero chance of getting rid of ISIS. I have 100% chance. Okay? I have 100% chance. We have no choice. This is like we're living in medieval times. This isn't like it's war and people get shot and people get killed and it's horrible. This is people's heads are chopped off by the hundreds, by the thousands. And if you're Christian, you have no chance. And it's very hard. You know, if you're in Syria, I've heard this for years, it's amazing. Even before the migration. If you're a Christian, it was almost impossible to come into the United States. Almost impossible. And yet these people were under this horrible, horrible rule, and they were being decimated and killed. And by the way, the evangelicals, Christians, Jews, Catholics, I have such tremendous support, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So we're going to do things that are going to make you very proud, and we're going to be strong again. The Trump administration will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And as I said, when these young, attractive people started screaming they want the wall, we will build a wall that will make you so happy to that group over there. A lot of youth here. We're going to build a great wall, and Mexico is going to pay for the wall. And the reason, we're going to have a great relationship. I was with Mexico, the Mexican president, a short while ago. Very nice. We had a great meeting. But Mexico is beating us at the border. They're killing us on trade. We have a trade deficit with Mexico that nobody would believe. It's a fraction of what we're talking about with respect to the cost of the war. Because a lot of politicians ask me the question, how are you going to get Mexico to pay? I said, when you see their trade deficit, billions and billions of dollars, and you look at the cost of the wall, then you'll understand how easy it's going to be. So we're going to build a wall. It'll be a great wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to stop those drugs from pouring in and poisoning our youth. We're going to stop. And it will be a great wall. Maybe someday they'll name it after Trump. Who the hell knows? I really don't know if I want a wall, but that's it. We received the first ever endorsement from our ICE and Border Patrol officers. It's just been reported that as a result of our open borders, violent transnational cartels have spread into all 50 of our states. You've read that. More than 90% of those arrested are here illegally. So 90% of the people that are here doing the things that you and I know they're doing are in our country illegally. They're killing innocent Americans and others, threatening schools, and totally destroying communities. A government that will not protect its people is a government unworthy to lead. Unworthy to lead. I mean, think of it. Think of it with respect to radical Islam, where you have a president that won't mention the words, and you have a candidate that won't say radical Islamic terrorism. How do you solve a problem if you refuse to acknowledge it? Hillary will never protect your family, which is why she can never lead this country. But that's only one reason why. The other reason why is that she is guilty of so many crimes. And that's why it's a rigged system, because she should not be allowed to run. And when you look at what's going on with her protection, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying when I say rigged system. You can ask Bernie Sanders about a rigged system. The mistake he made when he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he made a deal with the devil, and his stock went way down. And we're going to get a lot of Bernie Sanders people supporting us because he was right about one thing. He was right about the borders and trade. And you know what? I'm much tougher on trade than he was ever. And a lot of his people are coming over. Should have never made a deal. He would have gone down as a great person in political history had he not made that deal. And now he just goes out and speaks before small crowds. And then you see WikiLeaks, all the bad things they say about him. That alone should stop. That alone should stop. And just like I said, that's why Hillary should fire Podesta. How do you have people working that say these horrible things about you? Boy, I love reading those WikiLeaks. The immigration officers warned in their letter when they endorsed me that Hillary's plan is the most radical immigration proposal in United States history. It will lead to the loss of thousands and thousands of lives. And they know what they're talking about, folks. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton allowed many, many, many people, the most dangerous and violent criminal aliens, to go free because their home countries refused to take them back. Now, I don't blame their home countries, but when we catch drug lords, killers, gang members, and we bring them back into their home country, I give you my word, there won't be one instance where that country doesn't take those people. And we are going to have a plan because they keep coming back and back and back and back because we're weak and we're ineffective. When they come back, 5 years in jail. When they come back again, more than 5 years in jail. And when they come back a third time, much longer than that. Let me tell you, folks, they're never coming back. It's a very simple solution. They're never coming back. They come back 12 times, 13 times. They look at us, they laugh. Hillary supports totally open borders. There goes your country. And strongly supports sanctuary cities like San Francisco, where Kate Steinle was murdered by an illegal immigrant, deported at least 5 times. Here in Ohio, 60-year-old Margaret Kostelnick was murdered in cold blood by an illegal immigrant last July in nearby Concord Township. Earlier that day, her illegal immigrant killer attempted to rape a 14-year-old girl and shot another woman while she was with her children in the park. Police encountered the illegal immigrant more than 3 weeks before the crime spree, but federal authorities refused to take him in. Just refused to take him into custody. He was set free, and then he went out and killed Margaret. And people that knew him, by the way, were begging that he be incarcerated. But our weak immigration policies are responsible for many, many deaths. Many deaths. A Trump administration will end this nightmare of violence. We will protect American lives. We will cancel all federal funding to sanctuary cities. We will stop illegal immigration, deport all criminal aliens, and dismantle every last criminal cartel, and it will happen within the first week of my presidency. When we win, you will finally have a government on your side fighting for your community and protecting your family. We will also repeal the Obama-Clinton defense sequester and rebuild our so badly depleted military. We will build new advanced aircraft at places like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. You like that place? I like it too. I'm honored to have the endorsement of more than 200 top admirals and generals and more than 22 Medal of Honor recipients. They were with me last night. We're in Fort Bragg. That was an amazing evening. We had 21,000 people last night. Most incredible, brave people you've ever seen. Hillary brought death and disaster to Iraq, Syria, Libya. She empowered Iran, and she unleashed ISIS across the world. That's what she did, through incompetence. Through gross incompetence, she and Obama unleashed ISIS. Now she wants to start a shooting war in Syria in conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia that could easily lead to World War III. She's an unstable person, folks. I know my people. She's an unstable person. I mean, look at the way she handled this email mess. Do you want that handling our country? Hillary and our failed establishment have spent, listen to this one, this is the new number, $6 trillion on wars in the Middle East that we never win, that go on forever. Never win them. I wonder what General MacArthur would say. I wonder what General George Patton, they're spinning, he's going spin. They're spinning in their graves. They've made us less safe. They've shipped our jobs and our wealth to other countries. And they've left our borders wide open at home. We send troops to fight and die and defend our borders. But we don't care about our borders. We're more interested in defending the borders of countries that a lot of people have never even heard of. It's unbelievable. Think of it. We fight to defend a border in some place far away. But we don't even have borders in our country. That will change on November 8th. And by the way, two things. I want people to come into our country. We're going to have, he just said it, a big and beautiful door. We're going to have the big, beautiful doors. But they're going to come into our country legally. They're coming into our country legally. And the process is going to be speeded up, and it's going to be brought into a modern age. It's now archaic. People are in line for 10 and 12 years. But people are going to come in. We want people to come into our country, but they're going to come in through a process. They're going to come in legally. A Trump administration will never, ever put the interests of a foreign country before the interests of our country. I'm not running to be president of the world, believe me. I'm running to be president of our great United States of America. And from the day I take office, it will be always America first. To all Americans, I say it's time for change and it's time for new leadership. Can you imagine 4 years of Hillary Clinton? No, I mean, seriously. Forget about running, forget about the race. Can you imagine? 4 more years of ISIS. 4 more years of high taxes, 4 more years of nothing but problems, in addition to all of the legalities that she's done. I don't even like that thing. Just think about, in closing, what we can accomplish in the first 100 days of a Trump administration. We are going to have the biggest tax cuts since Ronald Reagan. She is raising taxes very seriously. You saw her tax increase, it's massive. You know, we have the highest tax nation in the world, and she wants to raise taxes. We're going to eliminate so many different things, but our taxes are going way down. And we're going to get rid of all unnecessary job-killing regulations. We're going to cancel every illegal Obama executive order. We will protect religious liberty. rebuild our military, and we are going to take great care, as I said, of our veterans. Provide school choice and put an end to Common Core. We're bringing education law. We will support the great men and women of law enforcement. We're going to save our Second Amendment, which is under siege. And appoint justices to the Supreme Court who will hold, you know this, look, this is one of the most serious things. Justice Scalia died, very unexpectedly. We have one. The next president could appoint as many as 3, 4, I mean, there's even a scenario, it could be 5. If we don't get this right, we will not have a country. Many people think it's like the most important thing. So we're going to appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. For all those people that don't even mention that, it's one of the really important elements of what we're doing and one of the very most important things that we're going to be doing. It is time to cut our ties with the failed politicians of the past. Hillary Clinton is a candidate of yesterday. We are the movement of the future. We are fighting for every citizen who believes that government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. We are fighting to save everything. Honestly, we're fighting to save everything. We're not just looking at having a strong military and having we're fighting to save everything. Our country is a total mess. You just take a look. You just take a look. We're also fighting to get rid of sanctuary cities. We're fighting to get rid of sanctuary cities. We're fighting to save the next worker from being laid off when their job is shipped unexpectedly to another country. We're fighting to save our government from crime, corruption. You look at what's happening, our government's being eaten alive. Cronyism and kick the crooks out of Washington, D.C. Don't let the pundits, the politicians or the media tell you what kind of a country you have. Don't let them limit your dreams because they want to limit your dreams. You can have any future you want. All we have to do is stop believing in our failed politicians and start believing in America again. I'm asking you to reject the cynics and to dream big, because with your vote, we are just 4 days. Can you believe it? 4 days. This started on June 16th of last year. It seemed like it was never going to end. 17 people, one by one, they said Donald Trump is inexperienced. I've been in politics all my life, but I've been on the other side of the equation, I must say. But one by one, and then they disappeared. Some great people. Ben Carson supporting us incredibly. Mike Huckabee. So many great, almost all of them. Great people. And we actually do have a very unified Republican Party, I'll tell you. But most importantly, we're going to make such great decisions for this country. We're going to make such great, you're going to be so proud. But so think of it, June 16th of last year, and now it's 4 days away from the change you've been waiting for your entire life. You're going to think back to this day. And you're going to say, that was a great day. That was a beautiful day. I even like Mr. Trump's plane. Yeah. Made in America, by the way. It was made in America. It's made in America. They don't make them like that anywhere else. But you're going to say this was a very, very important day because it led to your vote on November 8th or whenever you do it. Before that is fine, just as long as you do it. Do it anytime you want, but do it. And our country started winning again. We started winning with trade. We started doing things properly. We built up our military. We knocked the hell out of ISIS. We started winning again. We took care of health care. We got great health care at a much, much, much lower cost. It's unacceptable. But we started winning again. Together we are going to make America wealthy again. We will make America so very strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.